ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु. Today we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 17. Before we read and discuss this verse, let's chant Jai Radha Madhava. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन। यशोदानंदन व्रजजन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी। यशोदा नंदन ब्रजजन रंजन। यशोदा नंदन ब्रजजन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे। जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय पंचतत्व जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा। हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल। एवं विष्णुपाद परिहंस परिव्राटाचार्य स्तोत्र सदृश श्रीमद His Divine Grace श्रील ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namani Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyata Deshitarine. Today we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 17. Brahma Tejo Vinirmuktair Atmajay Sah Krishnaya Prayana-bhimukham Krishnam Idam Aha Vrithasati. Brahma Tejo Vinirmuktair Atmajay Sah Krishnaya Prayana-bhimukham Krishnam Idam Aha Vrithasati. Brahma Tejo Vinirmuktair Atmajay Sah Krishnaya Prayana-bhimukham Krishnam Idam Aha Prithasati. Word by word, Brahma Teja, the radiation of the Brahmastra, Vinirmuktai, being saved from, Atmajai, along with her sons, Saha, with, Krishnaya, Draupadi, Prayana, outgoing, Abhimukham, towards, Krishnam, onto Lord Krishna, Idam, this, Aha, said, Pritha, Kunti, Sati, chaste, devoted to the Lord. Translation. Thus saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Kunti is described herein as Sati or chaste due to her unalloyed devotion to Lord Sri Krishna. Her mind will now be expressed in the following prayers for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod, even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristic of the whole family of the Pandavas. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. One should not, therefore, look for help from imperfect living beings or demigods, but one should look for all help from Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotees. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् नाम श्रेष्ठं मनमपि शचिपुत्रम् अत्र स्वरूपम् रूपं तस्याग्रजं उरुपुरीं मातुरीं गोष्ठावती राधाकुण्डं गिरिवरम् अहो राधिका माधवाशम् प्राप्तो यस्य प्रतितकृपया श्रीगुरुं तं नतोऽस्मि वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुता पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च अददन्तस्तृणं दन्ते इदं याचे पुनः पुनः श्रीमन्रूपपदाम्बोजं धूलिस्यां जन्म जन्मनि हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Today we are reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, Text 17. Brahmatejo vinirmuktair atmajay saha krishnaya prayana-bhimukam krishnam idam aha pritha sati. Thus saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home. Here we see that Krishna was with the Pandavas during the war in Kurukshetra. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsava Mamaka Pandava Shaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. This was the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra was asking Sanjaya, what happened in the Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra? Kurukshetre Dharmam Acharet. It is said in the Vedic literatures that the dharmic activities should be performed in Kurukshetra. And that's why Kurukshetra was chosen as the place for the battlefield between Pandavas and Kauravas, because it was a dharma yuddha. It was a war to establish the religious principles. And that is why Sri Krishna himself descends. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyam paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So why does Krishna appear? So this verse Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, the reason. So paritranaya sadhunam. So the first reason why Krishna appears is to deliver the pious devotees, and vinashaya cha dushkritam, and to annihilate all the miscreants. And here we see Krishna is always there, personally there with the Pandavas and Kunti Devi when they were in danger. The battlefield of Kurukshetra, for example, was a place which was especially dangerous for the Pandavas. If Krishna was not there on the side of the Pandavas, there would have been no chance for Pandavas to be victorious. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayor Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So this is what Sanjaya concludes in Bhagavad Gita, that wherever there is Krishna, the master of all the yogis, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, and where there is Partha, the son of Pritha. So here Pritha is mentioned here. Pritha is Kunti Devi, and Partha is son of Pritha, and Arjuna is known as Partha, son of Pritha. Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. So Arjuna was the greatest archer in the art of archery. There was no one greater than Arjuna. So Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shrir Vijayor Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. This is said by Sanjaya that where there is Krishna, the master of all yogis, all mystics, and where there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, Tatra Shrir Vijayor Bhutir. So there one has got opulence, one has got Vijaya, victory, Bhutir, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. And this is certain, 100% certain, that where Krishna is present, victory is certain. And here Krishna is always with the devotees, as we had discussed in the previous verse as well. Sadhavo Hridayam Mahyam, Sadhunam Hridayam Tva Aham, Madanyat Tena Janati Naham Tebhyo Managapi. This is said by Krishna himself to Durvasa Muni, that I am in the heart of all the devotees. Sadhavo Hridayam Mahyam, Sadhunam Hridayam Tva Aham. And so the reciprocation between the Lord and the devotees, it is the most important part of this relationship, the reciprocity. That is the most important. So ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sthataiva bhajamiham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. So according to how one is rendering service to the Lord is reciprocating to the devotee in the same way, according to ye yatha mam prapadyante. So prapadyante is the most important word there. Surrendering. So surrendering to the Lord is extremely important. Namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama. So Krishna says that 4 kinds of people never surrender unto me. Namam, why they don't surrender? Because dushkriti, because of sinful activities, they are not getting that inclination to surrender onto the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the misfortune, the unfortunate situation, if one cannot get that inclination to surrender to the Lord. So namam dushkritino mudha prapadyante naradhama. So Krishna actually uses very strong words there, and this is applicable to the character that was played by Duryodhana, for example. And why I'm saying character played by Duryodhana, because it is externally Duryodhana is that way, but internally we know that each and every jivere swarupaya krishnera nityadas, krishnasya tatastha shakti beda beda prakash. So eternally all the living entities are their swarup, their real identity is that they are eternally krishnera nityadas, that they are eternally part and parcel of the Lord, servant of the Lord. Mame vamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatana. So this Krishna says that all the living entities are my part and parcel, eternally my part and parcel. So at any point of time, the living entity, there is no time when the living entity is not part and parcel of the Lord. So it is just that the covering, Bena Vritam Garbhas, Yatha Adarshana Malenacha, धूमेनावृतं वह्निर् यथा आदर्शन मलेन च यथो बेनावृतं गर्भस तथा तेनेदम आवृतम. So Krishna says that dhumena vahnir, just like the smoke covers the fire, or the yatha adarshana malenacha. So as a mirror is covered by the dust, yatho benavritam garbhas, and as an embryo is covered within the womb, the living entities have such kinds of covering. This is the first kind of covering, where the smoke covering the fire is similar to one in mode of goodness. So the advantage of that is one can immediately understand the relationship with the Lord. So that's the Sambandha Jnana. The Sambandha Jnana becomes established very quickly. Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. These are the three. Sambandha is the understanding of the eternal relationship of the Lord. Abhideya is engaging in activities to reveal that eternal relationship with the Lord. And Prayojana is the attainment of the goal of the engagement in devotional activity. So these are the three steps of the devotional journey: Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojana. So this the Krishna's mentioning of the smoke covering the fire is like someone in a mode of goodness. So in the mode of goodness, it doesn't take much for one to start engaging in devotional activities. Then there is other yatha malenacha. So adarshana malenacha. So that there, when the mirror is covered with dust, it requires a little bit of cleaning. Cheto darpana marjanam. This is said by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshashtakam. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam anandambudivartanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is glorifying the Krishna Sankirtana, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the Sankirtana, that is the Yuga Dharma of this age. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshashtakam mentions what is Cheto Darpana Marjanam, that this engagement in Sankirtana activity is the cleansing of the mind and the heart. Just like the mirror needs to be cleaned of dirt, the dirt somehow or the other accumulates. So then this activity of cleaning has to take place. Marjanam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So Darpana. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gives the example of Darpan. Darpan is the mirror. So Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So coming back to the three types of covering, the first covering is the smoke covering the fire. The second is the dust covering the mirror. And the third is like the embryo within the womb. So that is a very strong covering. That second covering is like mode of passion. And the third covering is the mode of ignorance. And when it is in mode of ignorance, it is very difficult to come out of the mode of ignorance. But it is not impossible. It is extremely difficult. The level of difficulty is increasing from the mode of goodness to passion to ignorance. But it is never impossible, because Krishna is always so the swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So Krishna mentions that even a small step of engagement in this activity of Krishna consciousness saves one from greatest dangers. And here we see, because Pandavas were pure devotee of the Lord, Shri Kunti Devi was pure devotee of the Lord, Krishna was always with them, personally or even not personally. He was still there. And Kunti Devi actually gives a very beautiful prayer later in this. We'll see from text 18 onwards. The prayers of Kunti Devi is here, and they are very beautiful. 18 to 52. So there's such a beautiful set of prayers. Atha And in one of the prayers, Kunti Devi is saying, Vipada santuta shashvat tatra tatra jagat guru bhavato darshanam yatsyat apunar bhava darshanam. So what Kunti Devi is saying is, let these calamities keep on happening. So this is the pure devotee is not bothered by any calamity, because their only inclination is to render devotional service to the Lord, and that devotional service can be rendered under any circumstances, whether it is sukha dukkhe same kritva. So it is so the happiness or distress, it doesn't matter for the devotees, especially like Kunti Devi. And Kunti Devi is actually saying that let these calamities keep on befalling on us. This is just an opposite of a materialist. A materialist person would always pray to the Lord that, oh Lord, please don't give any calamities. Let me try and enjoy this material world. So that is the and to enjoy the material world, there is a kind of business-like activity that is going on between. So the Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino or Arjuna artho jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. So it is Krishna mentions that 4 kinds of people render service unto me, render devotional service to me. So who are the 4 kinds? First is artha, one who is in distress. The second is jignasu, so one who is inquisitive to know about the Lord. The third is artharthi, one who wants wealth and all the material accumulations. And the fourth is jnani, the one who is in knowledge. And Krishna continues in the next verse that Tesham jnani nitya yuktam eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnani athyartham aham sacha mama priya. So Krishna mentions that among those 4 categories of people who are coming to me, they are all sukriti. So the good thing about going to the Lord is that akama sarva kamova moksha kama udharadhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So this is said in Srimad-Bhagavatam that if one does not have any desires, akama sarva kamova, or one has millions of desires, unlimited desires, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udharadhi. And if someone has got the desire for moksha, liberation, so in all the cases, someone has no desire, someone has unlimited desires, and someone has a desire for liberation. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. So one should engage in tivra bhakti yoga. Tivra is one-pointed devotional service. So tesham jnani nitya yuktam eka bhaktir vishishyate. So that eka bhaktir, that one-pointed devotional service to the Lord. Tivrena bhakti yogena. What one has to do? Yajeta purusham param. One has to render loving devotional service. One has to render prayers to the Lord. Who is that? Purusham param, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srila Prabhupada actually mentions in this purport as well that one should not therefore look for help from imperfect living beings or demigods, but one should look for all help from Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotees. So Krishna actually mentions kama istaisther hrita jnana yajante anya devata tam niyamam asthaya prakritya niyata swaya. So because one kama istaisther hrita jnana, so because one has got the material desires, one is going to the respective demigod to fulfill those material desires. But instead of going to the demigod, if one goes directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one not only gets what one desires, but one also gets the loving devotional service of the Lord. And this is very nicely, we see this in Dhruva Maharaj's story, where in the end he says that Swamin kritarthosmi varam na yache. So sthana bilashi tapasas stitoham yam prapyavan deva munindra guhyam kachan vichinvan api divya ratnam Swamin kritarthosmi varam na yache. So this is said by Dhruva Maharaj when we know this story of Dhruva Maharaj where he is the son of Uttanapad and he has got a mother and a stepmother, so Suniti and Suruchi. And we see that Suruchi did not want Dhruva to sit on the lap. The stepmother did not want Dhruva to sit on the lap of the Maharaj Uttanapada, the king. And then Dhruva gets dejected. We see this story where he actually it's a very simple desire of a child, but that is not unfortunately being satisfied due to the bad intentions of the stepmother, Suruchi. So then then Dhruva Maharaj comes to know about Narad Muni, that he has to go to the forest. And when he's going to the forest, Narad Muni is actually testing Dhruva Maharaj as well. You're so small, you're around 5 years boy, and are you going to do the tapasya or the constant meditation on Lord Vishnu for many years? Are you capable of doing that? And then he gives a Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the mantra that Narada Muni gives, and Dhruva Maharaj is meditating on Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, and then after the meditation fructifies, he sees the Lord personally, and when he sees the Lord personally, then he says, "Sthana Bilashi Tapasistito." I'm. What did I do? Why did I do this? You're saying that Sthana Bilashi, that I wanted a position, and that's why I did tapasya. Tapasistitoham. Yam prapyavan deha munindra guhyam. So this is what. So to achieve the Lord, the great saints and great devotees are meditating upon the Lord, and I have achieved that same position. And why did I start this tapasya? To get the sthana, to get some kind of material designation. And kachan vichinvan api divya ratnam. So this is a very important point there. So Dhruva Maharaj is saying that that actually the Lord is like a diamond, divya, a transcendental diamond. But I was looking for some piece of item that glows, some cheap piece of item. But he is actually a transcendental diamond. Kachan vichinvan api divya ratnam. So he's like a transcendental jewel. Swamin kritharthosmi varam nayache. Then the last words in that verse is Dhruva Maharaj says that, "O Lord, I am now seeing you. Now I don't want anything else. Varam nayache." So varam is so we have that beautiful in the Damodara Ashtaka, varam deha, the nachanya prineham vareshadapiha idam te vapurnatha gopala balam sadame manasi avirastam kimanye varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va nachanya vrineham vareshadapiha idam te vapurnatha gopala balam sadame manasya avirastam kimanye. So this is very beautiful. The Damodara Ashtakam is so beautiful, and that particular verse, varam deva moksham na mokshavadim va. It's said in that verse that I don't varam deva moksham na. I don't even want liberation. Nachanya vrineham vareshadapiha idam te vapurnatha gopala balam. Let my mind always think of the Gopala Krishna, Gopala Krishna. Sadame manasi avirastam kimanye. If I have in my mind always this Gopala Balam, this Gopala Krishna's image in my mind always, then what else do I want? So this is the beautiful prayer in Damodara Ashtakam. This is Mukti Swayam Mukilitanjali Sevate Asman Dharmartha Kama Gataya Samaya Pratiksha. This is said by Bilva Mangala Thakur. Bhakti Stvai Bhagavata Bhagwan Yadi Syad Devena Na Phalati Divya Kishora Murti Mukti Swayam Mukulitanjali Sevate Asman Dharmartha Kamagataya Samaya Pratiksha. The Bilva Mangala Thakur is saying that that when one is engaged in pure devotional service of the Lord, Divya Kishora Murti, of the wonderful Radha Krishna Yugala Kishore. Radha Krishna Pran Mora Yugala Kishore Jivane Marane Gati Aar Nahi More. This is when with that intensity, if one is saying that, then Mukti Swayam Mukulitanjali Sevate Asman. Then Bilva Mangala Thakur is saying that the Mukti Devi herself is standing with folded hands in front of such a pure devotee. So Mukti Devi is ready to give liberation. And what to speak of Dharma, Artha, Kama. So the Purusharthas, they are called the Purusharthas, the Chatur Purusharthas, that is Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So religiosity, economic development, engaging in sense gratification, and then finally liberation. So Prema Pumartho Mahat. So therefore in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that Prema Pumartho Mahan, that the love for that Krishna Prema, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Nama. This Mahavadanyaya Avatar. Why is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called as the most munificent incarnation of the Lord? Because he is giving Krishna Prema Pradayate. Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the love for Krishna to everyone, distributing freely to everyone, which is the topmost, which is even moksha laguta krit. So there is the Sandrananda Visheshatma. So there is the pure devotional service. There are different states which is said, and one of the state is moksha laguta krit, that even liberation becomes nothing in front of the pure devotional service. So therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kame, mama janmani janmani ishware, janmani ishware bhavatat bhaktir aituki toi." This that na dhanam, I don't want wealth. Na janam, I don't want any followers. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavitam, I don't want any beautiful person in my life. Sundarim kavitam va jagadisha kame. So Jagadisha, so you are the Lord of the whole universe. Jagadisha, Kamae, I don't want. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, na kavitam, Jagadisha Kamae. Mama janmani janmani ishware. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying that birth after birth, janmani janmani ishware, to the Supreme Personality. Ishwara Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let me always be engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, birth after birth. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying. Janmani Janmani Ishware Bhavatat Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvai. So costless devotional service. So this is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, that let me be involved in non-intermittent, costless devotional service. So Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Adhokshaje Ahaituki Aprati Hata Yayatma Suprasidati. As it is said in Srimad-Bhagavatam, that what is the supreme activity that one can get involved in? Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo. So there is no dharma greater than this dharma. What is this? What is no other dharma greater than that is Yato Bhakti. That is the loving devotional service to someone, to the Lord who is not Adhakrita Akshaja. So one who cannot be known by the blunt material senses. So that is the Sevon Mukhe Jivhado Swayameva Spurati Ada. Adha Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyai. Sevon Mukhe Jivhado Swayameva Spurati Ada. This is what is the transcendental nature of the Lord, that he is not revealed to the blunt material senses. When the senses are engaged in the loving devotional service of the Lord, then the Lord himself reveals. So therefore, the path, spiritual path is the path of revelation. It gets revealed according to the surrender of the devotee. The more the surrender, the more the revelation. So that is so Sevon Mukhe Jivhado Swayameva Swaratiyada. So Atha Shri Krishna Namadi. So starting from his name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is Iti Shodashaka Namnam Kali Kalmasha Nashanam Nata Parataropaya Sarva Vedeshu Drishyate. This is said in Kali Santarana Upanishad that this 32 syllables of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. So this destroys all the impurities in this age of Kali. So as it is said in Srimad-Bhagavatam, Kaler Dosha Nibhe Rajan, Hi Asti Eko Mahan Gunan, Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. This is said by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. He's saying that in this age of Kali, in the age of Kali, there is Dosha Nidhe Rajan. It is full of impurities. It is like a treasure of impurities. But there is one great advantage in this age of Kali. Hi eko mahan mahad gunan kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. Just by singing the glories of the Lord, one becomes mukta sangha, free from all attachments, and one reaches the transcendental state, param vrajet. So in this verse, there is beautiful verse, Brahma Tejo Vinirmuktair Atmajay Saha Krishnaya Prayana Bhimukam Krishnam Idam Aha Pritha Sati. So Prayana Abhimukam Krishnam. So Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who was with the Pandavas, Kunti Devi and Draupadi, he was getting ready to leave back to Dwaraka. So at that time, Kunti Devi is going to say the prayers. Namasye Purusham Twadhyam Ishware Prakritim Param Alakshyam Sarva Bhutanam Antar Bahir Avastita. This is the first verse. The next verse, which is going to be said, it is very beautiful verse. All those verses where because Kunti Devi is pure devotee of the Lord, and when the pure devotee is praying to the Lord, there is nothing more transcendental than that. The prayers of the pure devotees towards the Lord is the most transcendental, ecstatic part of devotional service. So in that way, the Kunti Devi is saying Namasye Purusham Twadhyam. So this is what the Pandavas, the Kunti Devi, Draupadi, they all knew that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so therefore there was awe and reverence as well, along with, like, for example, Kunti Devi was aunt of Krishna. So in that way, there is a relationship, and Krishna in that way is younger because he's being nephew of Kunti Devi. So in that way, he is younger, and we have seen in the previous verses as well that Krishna, even though he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was following the customs and traditions. So when he was seeing the elder, he was actually giving them respect in the traditional way of the Vedic culture. So he was following all that, and Kunti Devi and Pandavas they knew that Krishna was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this is the Itham Satam Brahma Sukhanubhutya Dasya Gatanam Paradevatena Maya Shritanam Naradarakena Sadhyam Vijahru Krita Punya Punja. This is said in Srimad-Bhagavatam that how Krishna was playing with his friends. So it is said that here is the person who is the source of Brahma Sukha, and here he is playing with his friends. This is what Lord Brahma got bewildered as well. And we see that Brahma Vimohana Leela of Krishna, where Brahma thinks that Krishna is an ordinary boy, and he wants to test Krishna, and then he steals all the cowherd boys and the cows as well. And Krishna himself takes the form of those cowherd boys and cows. And it is seen that during that time, the relatives of those cowherd boys and cows were more attached to them when before before, when they were real in their own form, like when they were the souls, those souls, and Krishna as them, the difference was that there was more attachment. So this actually proves that that the attachment to the Lord is always there. It is it is not something Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karoye Uday. So this is what so when one is engaged in hearing about the Lord, this the cleansing is taking place, hearing and chanting. So actually, coming back to the verse where we were saying Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna artho jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. So the artho and artharthi and jignasu also to a certain extent, but the person in distress and the person who wants something from the Lord, they are going to the Lord with an expectation of getting something in back. And Prahlad Maharaj, actually being in pure devotional service, he says Nasa Bhritya Savai Vanik. So he says that that one who is going to the Lord with the intention of getting something in return is not actually your pure devotee or Lord. He is actually like a businessman. So this is what Prahlad Maharaj is saying, that so this is a level of pure devotional service where the pure devotee does not want anything from the Lord. So this is said here. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help, but the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. This is an extremely important point, because the devotee is always engaged in loving devotional service of the Lord, irrespective of the circumstances. So that this is whether it is happiness or whether it is distress, the devotional service is continuously being rendered in the same way, and this is what the Lord is attached to. So when someone is performing the devotional service with so tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate. So priyo hi jnani atyartham maham sacha mama priya. So Krishna says that so a person in knowledge. So like we can see here, Kunti Devi is in knowledge of Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that after many births, so unlimited actually, we can't even trace. Since time immemorial, the living entity is taking birth. So after unlimited births, Jnanvan Mam Prapadyate, a person in knowledge surrenders to me. Again, Prapadyate, surrenders. So surrendering is extremely important. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And when one is surrendered, what does one know? That everything belongs to the Lord. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. And when one knows that, then one is Mahatma. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So such a person is called a great soul. And such a great soul is very rarely seen. Sudurlabha. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Durlabham Manusham Janmam Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. So this is Kaumaram Acharet Prajna Dharman Bhagavataniha. Durlabham Manusham Janmam Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. So this is said by Prahlad Maharaj again, that this devotional service, one should engage in devotional service from childhood itself. This Bhagavata Dharma. Why? Because Durlabham Manusham Janmam. Because this human form of life is very rarely attained. And Tadapi Adhruvam Arthadam. And it is rarely attained, and once it is attained, it is not permanent as well. It is temporary. So first of all, attainment itself is rare, and once it's attained, it is not permanent. It is temporary. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that Kaumaram Macharet Prajna. The devotional service has to be rendered from the childhood itself. And we see here, Kunti Devi was a devotee from the childhood itself. And her attitude of service was such that she could even satisfy Durvasa Muni, who, as we have seen in the verse that we discussed on Sunday, where Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni's verse was there. So there, we see that Durvasa Muni, it's not very easy to satisfy him, but Kunti Devi was able to satisfy Durvasa Muni as well, and then he gave that boon to Kunti Devi that she could call any demigod and get an offspring from the demigod, and that's how she got the Pandavas. Yudhishthira is the son of Dharmaraj, Yamraj. Arjuna is the son of Indra, and then we have Bhima, the son of Vayu, and then we have Nakula and Sahadeva, the Ashwini Kumaras, son of Ashwini Kumaras. So this was the greatness of Kunti Devi, that she had pure devotional service. She is a pure devotee of the Lord, and the prayers that come in the succeeding verses very beautifully. Maya Javani ka channam ajnad adokshajam avyayam na lakshyase moda drisha nato natya dharo yatha. So she's saying that as a person comes in a drama, and because in a drama a person is doing a particular role, you don't see the real person. You see just the person, the character being played by the person. So similarly, when Krishna is incarnating, people who are not, so Maya Shritanam Naradarakena. So people who are under the influence of the Mahamaya, they think that Krishna is just a normal human being. They don't understand the supreme Param Bhava Majananta, Mama Bhuta Maheshwaram. So this is Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavrita. This is the state where, and then the revelation happens as well to the devotees. And then there is the Vrindavana devotees who don't have any awe and reverence at all. So they are so much attached to the Lord as a Vrajendra Nandana Krishna, as the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya, that they don't know anything else about Krishna, that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. So this is the Yoga Maya's potency, the transcendental, the internal potency of the Lord. So in the internal potency, also the situation is the same. They are not realizing that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but there the attachment is so strong with the Lord, and because of that attachment, the supreme personality of Godhead part, awe and reverence is taken away, and the dealings are really at a very intimate level, as we see in the Sakhya, Dasya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Where one can be as a friend of Krishna, one can be the parent of Krishna, Vatsalya, Sakhya, Vatsalya. So this is Shanta Dasya. So Dasya. So it starts with Dasya. So one can be a servant of Krishna, one can be a friend of Krishna, one can be a parent of Krishna, and one can be a lover of Krishna. And then there's Shantarasa as well. But Shantarasa is, in a way, like a Brahma Jyoti. It's like a situation where one is Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ikantikasya cha. So Krishna says that the impersonal Brahman is based on him, and that Shantarasya is generally more inclined towards that Brahma Jyoti thing. But here the Brahma Tejo is about the Brahmastra. So in this verse, the Brahma Tejo is stated about the Brahmastra, Vinirmukta, saved from. So we see that Krishna personally saved the offspring in the womb of Uttara, and because this offspring was tested when he was inside the womb, the test is called Pariksha. Pariksha means test, and because he was tested, his name was Parikshit Maharaj. So because he was tested within the womb of his mother, his name is Parikshit, and we see how Parikshit Maharaj is involved in during the last 7 days, when he knows that he is going to be killed in the 7th day by the biting of the Takshak snake. If 100% he is involved in hearing from Shukadeva Goswami. Who better to hear from than Shukadeva Goswami, son of Vyasadeva himself, who was actually, it is said that he's a parrot of Shuka means parrot actually, and so Shukamukhad Amrita Drava Samyutam Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukamukhad Amrita Drava Samyutam Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. There's that the Srimad-Bhagavatam is a ripened fruit of all the Vedic literatures, and because so when a parrot is eating the fruit becomes even more tastier. They said so because it has been coming from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, who is the parrot of Srimati Radharani. It has become even more nectarian, and the Rasika Bhaktas who are Raso Vaisaha. So Krishna is the source of all transcendental mellows, and the devotees who are diving in this nectarian ocean of transcendental mellows are called Rasikas. So Rasa and Rasika. So Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. So it is said that Pibatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. So this Bhagavata is Srimad-Bhagavatam is full of nectar, nectarian ocean, Bhakti Rasamrita. So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This Bhagavatam is also that actually. It's a nectarian ocean of pastimes of the Lord. Of course, Srila Rupa Goswami has written his own his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the nectar of devotion, which Srila Prabhupada has beautifully translated, has kept in a form of a book. So this is there Anyabhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktirottama. So there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami is saying that what is the topmost devotional service? That is Anyabhilashita Shunyam. So where one does not have any other desire except to serve the Lord. And that is what is said here in this verse. Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. And there is no trace of jnana and karma in that. It is pure bhakti. Just for the satisfaction of the Lord. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktirottama. So we see that in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is glorifying the pure devotional service. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. So if you want to take one particular message from this verse, it is that one akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradhi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. That if one has no desires or one has unlimited desires or one has a desire for liberation, whatever be the case, one should go and surrender on to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So on that note, thank you very much for allowing me to serve. Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin prati shlokam abadhavati api namani anantasya yasho ankitani yat shrinvanti gayanti grananti sadhava. So this is said in Srimad-Bhagavatam that even though there might be some grammatical mistakes or there might be some other kind of errors, because this is glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the swan-like devotees of the Lord hear this. So if there has been any mistakes in whatever I have told today, please forgive me and take only the milk from it, as a swan takes the milk and just leaves out the water. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Thank you very much, Shri Rupa Prabhu. You're asking, could you please say again about Tivra, one-pointed devotional service, even if one has unlimited desires or desires liberation? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu. This Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param. This So as we can see from Dhruva Maharaj story that we had discussed in this verse, that initially his motive was not a pure devotional service motive. He had the motive of actually it was such an innocent motive. It was just sitting on the lap of his father. Any child would want that. So it was such an innocent motive, but that was that was the thing that motivated Dhruva Maharaj to go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when he went, he did with Tivra, so one-pointed. So the point here is that even if one has material desires, one should directly go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in one-pointed devotional service of the Lord. Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityasha tasyaham sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. So Krishna mentions that ananya cheta. So there's the example given is like if someone is pouring oil from one vessel to another vessel, when the oil is falling, it falls continuously. There is no break in the fall of the oil. So that is the example given there. So that is the one-pointedness. That is so it's constantly at the background, just like the involuntary activities are taking place in our body. We are breathing, our heart is beating, and so many other things are going on. The blood is circulating. The heart is pumping the blood. So it is all going involuntarily. So similarly, the devotional service should go on involuntarily as well. Of course, voluntarily is important, because only when it is done voluntarily for continuously voluntarily, it becomes involuntarily done as well through the mind and the senses. So the devotional service, so that is the one-pointed engagement in. So that's why Krishna says, Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati. So who remembers me. Nityasha. That this satatam is constantly. Ananya is without any stop. Cheta is my. Ananya cheta satatam yo mam, who remembers me, smarati. Nityasha. Nityasha is again constantly. Tasyaham sulabha partha. So Krishna says that for such a person, I am easily available. Sulabha. Why? Because nitya yuktasya yogina. Why I am easily available to such a person? Because he is engaged in nitya yuktasya yogina. He is engaged in constant, unalloyed devotional service to me. So that's why. So that is a point there, Prabhu, in terms of the one-pointed devotional service. That even if it is with desires, the one-pointedness is very important there. Just like we see from Dhruva Maharaj, it was one-pointed devotional service, and because of that, the Lord Himself personally came to him and gave his darshan. And when Dhruva Maharaj saw the Lord, he says that Swamin Kritharthosmi Varam Nayache. Oh Lord, now I am satisfied. I don't want anything. But then Krishna gave him the Dhruva Loka as well. This is the greatness of the Lord. That he not only gives his association, but he fulfills the desires as well. So it is amazing how the Lord wonderfully and beautifully does everything at the same time, simultaneously. So many multifarious things are done simultaneously by the Lord. So swabhaviki jnana bala kriyacha, as it is said in Vedic scriptures, that it is done autonomously. He doesn't need to personally endeavor to do anything. The energies are multifariously acting, and so here in this case, the Yogamaya is creating that wonderful atmosphere where that loving devotional service and reciprocity between the Lord and the devotees is continuously taking place eternally. So this where the spiritual world. So Chintamani Prakara Sadmashu Kalpa Vriksha Lakshavriteshu Surabhir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. This so that spiritual world, whatever is happening in the spiritual world, it is all Lord's energy, internal energy acting in a wonderful way. Hope I have answered Shri Prabhu. But the point there was that even if there are desires, the one-pointed devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead should be done, and then the desires will go away, and one gets the association of the Lord as well. So, thank you very much, Shri Prabhu. There is nothing else. Thank you very much once again. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.